Hey, this is Tim Hadley with the head varsity baseball coach at the Heights School, Brian Croce. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well, Tim.
We're hoping to do these podcasts on a monthly basis for anyone who wants to keep up with the Heights baseball program to keep them up to date. So, Coach, I hear you have an announcement for us about the April 30th game against Landon.
Yes, this is something we've been meaning to do for a while. We finally, this year, sort of gotten ourselves organized enough to go ahead and do it, but Al wore the number 1 back in the day. I, of course, played for Al for a few years here, and Al, of course, the winningest coach in the history of the school. Is something like 207 wins. I don't know what it is. It's a lot. So, and he's certainly the father of Heights baseball. We run the same things Al ran. We do it the same way Al did it, and so I think it's fitting that we do this. We're going to do it on April 30th. 2011, the Landon game will be 2 o'clock. I imagine festivities will get underway 1:30-ish, and we hope to have a lot of alumni out, people who played for Al, and yeah, we are going to retire the number 1.
So, are any other numbers retired?
None in baseball, and I don't think anything has been officially retired by the school. I don't know if there's been anything removed from circulation. We haven't circulated the number 1 since Al was the coach, but I don't think so. I'm not aware of any.
So for those who don't know, Al kind of came to the Heights back in the fall of 1989 and was the head coach of the baseball team in the spring of '90, his first year, and that was part of 2 stints that he had with the Heights. And you played for him for how many years?
I played for him from 91 through 94, 4 years.
And I believe Al holds the record for most wins in a season as well, with 25.
I think one year they won 26, I want to say. It might have even been 27. I'd have to look it up, but either 96, I think they were 26-4. 97, they might have been 27-2, which is and if you look it up, they beat some real good teams. So it's an impressive record. I don't know if it's one that's going to be matched anytime soon, but they had some real good teams back then.
Well, that was certainly the glory days of the Heights, but now we're starting in our little stretch right now with 3 straight 21 seasons.
Yes, we're getting back there. 3 straight 21 seasons. I think we can do more. I think we can get better. I think with the state tournament, we finished 2nd or 3rd for something like 7 straight years, which we want to do one better there. We've got the league now, so I think we're coming back. I think we've been pretty good. I try not to compare, between the old days and now. I try to not compare because I do think a lot of things are different, but no, we're on the up and up for sure.
So who do you think is going to be the leaders of this team for this coming year?
Well, earlier this week I named captains, and the captains are going to be Nolan Kime and Joe Kelly. Nolan's a senior, Joe's a junior. Nolan, of course, Nolan's a good story. He came in as a freshman. I guess he came to the school as an 8th grader, but he's a small guy, kind of one of those guys, real good JV player, real good glove. Worked himself like crazy. One of those guys, you go down to the gym, you're going to find him there, and he's gotten himself into really good shape. Hit around 500 last year. I don't have the stats in front of me, but played a real good shortstop, and has sort of kind of paid his dues and emerged as a team leader. You, of course, know when you were a senior, he came up as a sophomore and kind of solidified the infield for us during that stretch run. And he's grown up nicely. He's emerged into a leader. Not the most vocal guy, but a guy people will rally around. Joe's been with us a few years now too, and he's another guy, very charismatic guy. Has done some things like going behind the plate and catching. Swings a great bat, as you know. I think he's kind of the emotional leader of the team. One of the things with him is he played with, a lot of the older guys a few years ago, so I think he kind of is able to impart that mentality pretty well. He gets that. So those are going to be the two guys this year who are going to be the captains. There are other guys who I think will lead in different ways, but Nolan and Joe are going to be the captains.
All right, so this year we got new captains, we got a lot of stuff. We got new coaches. We got
Yeah, what about that? Yeah, I got a couple new coaches. I'll go through them one by one. Last year, towards the end of the year, I knew Coach Grieco, who I of course miss dearly, was moving back to New Jersey. And Brian Coyne and I met over the summer, and he just decided he was going to take some time off. Brian's into some other things with his music and such. So I knew we had vacancies, and I sought to kind of immediately fill them. John Fritz, who's class of '96, good ball player here, he contacted me, I want to say, January of last year, and I didn't have anything for him at the time, so I sort of told him, didn't really have anything, but I knew he would make a good fit. One of the things with John, when I played here, John's 2 years younger than I am, but I remember I was a junior, maybe a sophomore, and I was in a hitting slump, and that was a lot of my hitting career was a slump. But John sort of, told me, he just said, hey, you got to relax your hands. And I think after I said, something to the effect of, pipe down, you dirty little freshman or something like that, I sort of listened to him, and it worked. It got me going a little bit. So real good hitting mind. He's a guy who loves Heights baseball, and I'm glad he's sort of back in touch with the school.
In Al's words, he said John was good enough so you didn't have to teach him anything, and you would go out and learn it.
Yes.
He wasn't necessarily the best player, but would find out something if he didn't know how to.
Well, he was pretty darn good, too. I wouldn't want to sell him short. But, yeah, he was, great baseball mind, great, baseball brain.
And we got a new guy from Bucknell coming in.
Yes, Andrew Clark is going to be the pitching coach. Andrew kind of came through. It was sort of funny. I was talking with Pat Selwood, who I taught when he was in 6th grade. If makes me feel old, but Pat's now teaching here, and Pat said he had a friend in town who he went to school with and was interested in coaching baseball. And so I sort of thinking nothing of it, said, well, have him come up, I'll talk to him. And, we were pretty much filled out with the staff. But, as soon as he came, here and we started talking, I knew he would be a great fit. And I basically just said, well, I'm hiring him. I don't necessarily know what we're going to do yet or how we're going to make all these coaches work, but I'm hiring him. And he's going to be, at the very least, part-time for the upcoming year. And, the kids love him already. He meets guys in the middle of the day, for pitching workouts. I thought he did a great job calling the pitches in the wood bat. And also, he's very recent, on pitching mechanics and such. Over the years, I've sort of gone away from that as I've been doing more scheduling and meeting with people, sort of handling the people side of this. I've moved away from some of the fundamentals, and that's sort of what Andrew's here to do.
All right, sounds good. And you have an alma mater, another one in the house?
Yes, we have Tim. Tim is, of course, helping interview here. But I guess with Tim, one of the things we're looking at, he's going to work with the catchers. He's going to handle sort of player alignment during the games. One of the things I like about Tim is he's kind of after, sort of a lot like me. He, wakes up early in the morning, is one of the first guys at the field. He'll work himself into shape. He'll work the guys into shape. He takes no nonsense from the guys, particularly when it comes to equipment and organizing that stuff. And I thought he was really good in the wood bat, kind of keeping everybody up, kind of keeping everybody focused. I think what's good is when an assistant coach does that, the players aren't as uptight as when when the head coach does it, the players tend to be a little bit more uptight. So Tim was kind of that bridge between me and the players for a lot of things. And